Yo, what's up guys, I'm Yannick from the Producer School, and in this video I'm going to create a full tech house track from scratch within 1 hour. I'm going over all the aspects of a tech house track, such as the drums, percussion, bass, synths, vocals, mixing, arrangement, and more. And hopefully you can follow along with this video and use some of these techniques in your own tracks. That's enough for the intro. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's create a tech house track. Samples and presets that I will be using in this video come from our latest pack called Devotion, which is a all-in-one tech and minimal house producer pack containing serum presets, samples, project files, vocals, and more. And if you want to check out that pack and support the channel, then as always click the link over here or use the link in the description. Let's first set the tempo to 125 BPM. Tech house usually lies around 124 to 128 BPM, so 125 is a good starting point. Yesterday, while I was browsing through some splice samples, I found a really cool vocal that I just had to use for this video. And at first I wanted to use one of the vocals from the pack, like these.
Back to back. Never sleep. This is house. Welcome to the night.
But instead of using one of the vocals from the Devotion pack, I'm going to use a splice vocal. So let me drag it in there. It sounds like this, with nothing on it.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Go to the top all night.
And I think it has some big potential for a tech house track, really catchy vocal, and sounds pretty clean. So that's a great starting point to build the track around. That's also a tip I want to give you. Try to find something that can spark some inspiration. Vocals usually work really well, but it can also be something like a synth loop or ARP loop or whatever. And this just can get the idea going. The vocal sample is not in the right BPM yet, so let's fix that first. Let's set the tempo to the BPM of the vocal first, and then select stretch and put it back at 125. And it's faster.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non.
And let's see how we can time this.
Hit me with shot.
And then over
Hit me
here,
with your best,
at the best shot there, the kick should start.
best.
So there. So let's put in a kick to get an idea going.
Hit me with your best.
Let's lower down the volumes for a bit, so we have a little bit more headroom.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got.
Maybe this kick.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby,
I can already hear a bass line in my head, but that's not for now. That's what we'll be doing after we have the kick ready. So let's first start with the kick. I think it can use a little bit more saturation or distortion. Maybe a little bit more attack. Let's try and see if we put a transient processor on it and boost a little bit of the attack. Just a little bit. And then maybe some saturation or distortion with Decapitator. It works amazing on kicks. A little bit too much. Let's lower down the mix. Definitely is adding something. Let's put the mix at like 50%. Like this. That's sounding great. I usually want my kick to hit around -6 dB, so let's lower it down a little bit more.
best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all.
And this makes sure that I have enough space for other elements like the drums and the bass.
Bass side, bass side, bass side.
Let's see, I want to start with the low end first, so we have the kick ready. Let's move on to the bass line, which is probably second most important thing of a tech house track. Let's go to the Devotion presets and look for a like really low one. Is a little bit too punchy, more like a top bass. Would work. This is the bass. I'm actually these really filtered saw basses that you can like barely hear work really well with vocals. Let's check out some more basses. Ooh, this one sounds really great. Has some nice upper harmonics in there. I think I should stay on the B note.
All that you give me with your best side, best side, best side. Give me all that you got, you got.
Let's just try and put down a melody for the bass line. Let's put in a pattern. Let's make the vocal a bit lower in volume. And we have to start on a B, I think.
Best side, best side, best side, best side, best side, best side, best.
Let's remove the kick for a second.
Best side, best side, best side, best side, best side, best side.
So maybe C sharp here.
Best side, 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 best side.
Or like this. And then at the end, this B note goes up to a D. If that works.
Best side, best side. Give me all that you.
That sounds great, actually.
Best side, best side, best side. Give me all that you.
Let's copy this and make it 4 bars, like this.
Your best side, best side, best side. Give me all that you got, you got.
That sounds horrible because the bass needs some mixing. It's clashing a lot with the kick. So let's first process it a little bit. Let's remove a little bit of the high end. I think the bass has a little bit too much punch, and that's in the preset. It's the envelope 2 that controls the chorus pitch of the wavetable, and I want it to be a little bit less punchy. Let's drag that down. More release. Maybe make this note a little bit longer. That sounds great. Let's see. Keep a little bit of that high frequencies in there. Lower down the volume first, and let's just add some sidechain with kickstart. See how that sounds with the kick right now?
Got you got, baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Go to the top. Oh, best side, best side, best side. Give me all.
Let's add some compression to the bass line with Camel Crusher. Just really easy. Let's remove just the distortion of it. A little bit of compression.
Non-stop, hit me with your
I'm already hearing a few things that I want to change up in the vocal, like slice it up a little bit more and add some effects to it. But I'm going to do that in a later part. I want to first focus on the drums. So when that foundation is ready, I want to go on to the vocal and the effects and stuff like that. So let's just go on with some heads, like the drums. Let's first look for a main head. This one sounds cool. Maybe pitch it up. Or this one. This one sounds great. Let's look for another head to layer it with. So this is head 8. This one sounds pretty cool. Let's loop this. Let's make it just one bar. The second hi-hat, I want it to be like really wide. So let's put it in a mixer channel, remove some of the low end and just make it like really wide to fill up the stereo spectrum. Let's put some high frequencies as well. Add a little bit of reverb, just really short. And then make it wider with the stereo separation knob over here in the mixer. Go down the volume and let's see how that sounds with the other head. So without it, and then with the second head, definitely making a big difference. Now I want to add a closed head loop, and I'm going to do that in a MIDI channel. Let's go for a closed head. Maybe this one. Or this one actually. So I'm going to work in a new pattern, which will be pattern 2. And let's create just a really simple loop. I think it's on loop mode. Let's remove that. Now it sounds very robotic, and I'm going to change that up by putting some notes off the grid. So the second and the fourth. And also making some velocity changes. You can hear these notes are just slight off the beat, but they give it way more groove. Just a nice shuffle that's going on. Maybe try another head. this one actually sounds fine. Lowering down the volume to match with the other elements. Let's put it in the mixer channel and remove a little bit of the high end. It's a little too sharp. So over here. And some reverb can work as well. Just fruity reverb to really short decay. Okay, let's rename the pattern to closed head. Just to stay a little organized, which I'm normally not. Copy it like so. And then let's go look for a clap, because that's what we're missing right now. This one sounds really great, really analog clap. Has a nice tail. And let's layer it with a more like shifted clap. Maybe this one if we make it a little shorter. That's not what I meant. Now I have to replace the head. Let's mix these claps because I've been playing around with them for way too long without talking. Let's add this clap to the mixer channel. That's a main clap, and then the other clap, more shifted clap that will be wider in the mix. Let's start with the main clap. Just gonna add an EQ and a little bit of reverb to give it some room. Then the other clap. And I'm going to add a FabFilter Pro Q3 on it. With this plugin, you can mid-side EQ, so and can boost the sides of the high end, which can really help to make it wider. And let's also put up the stereo separation knob. And let's also add a reverb. Like that. That's sounding pretty great. Want the claps to be playing all the time. So put it here. And then I want to add some more claps to play around with the rhythm. Let's make this one unique and lower down the volume. Let's see how that sounds with the vocal.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I
I think it sounds better when it's pitched up one semitone.
Hit me with your best shot.
That sounds better. Let's see.
Best shot, best shot,
I want to add a variation to the hi-hat. I want to have an open hat at the end of every 2 or 4 bars. One like this. Or over here. And then a close head just before it. So we have a syncopated head going on. Nice head fill. Let's lower now the volume of this close head a little bit more. Just really soft in the background.
best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got. You give me all that you got. You got. Baby, I can love you non-stop. I can love you non-stop, non-stop.
Okay, great.
Best shot.
I think I want to add another clap to it because I feel there's missing something in the clap. A little bit too standard right now. Maybe this one. I think that adds something because it has this nice pre-shift to it. And a little bit of low end as well. Yeah, definitely needs this clap. To make this drum loop we have so far a little bit more interesting, I'm going to add a drum loop underneath it from the pack with a really nice trick that can help you create better grooves and more tight loops. So let's just first look for a nice loop in the pack. Maybe this one. And what I'm going to do is to add a transient processor to this loop and lower down the release. So you get a really tight and short loop. So the release is over here, just drag it down. Maybe another one, another transient processor to make it even shorter. Let's see how that sounds with the other elements. I'm going to bring it in with the volume fader. You can also try another loop, maybe this one. It's too much clap, I think. Let's try again. Bring it in with the volume fader. Just adding a little extra to the loop. And it's phasing over here, so let's remove this part. The main idea of the drum loop is there. I want to move on to the other elements of the track since I only have 1 hour. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's start off with some percussion. There's a lot of percussion shots in the pack, so we definitely find something that's workable with. I actually like this one, really short. I'm just going to throw in a bunch of percussion shots that I like, and then I'm going to try and create a nice loop with it. This is basically trial and error. There's no one way to do this. I usually try to look for sounds that can work together. Really hard to explain, but I guess it's something that you have to do a lot to get to know your sounds really good and use them in a proper way. I already have the rhythm of the percussion in my head. So now these two shots, then one should hit over here. But I want to have a different one than the one that I've already used here. Maybe this one. Bongo shot. Maybe this one. Really cool sound. Can work. Let's bend it a little bit to the right. And then this one maybe to the left. Just to make the stereo field a little bit wider. Maybe you can try and use one of the percussion loops in the pack. This one sounds cool. It's already in the right BPM. Yeah. If let's copy this. And with the vocal.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got. You hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got. You hit me with your best shot.
Percussion just should be really in the background. Can barely hear it, but that's the idea. Just little ear candy. Let's look for another percussion shot. This one is cool. Just lower down the volume. Yeah, we can use that. I think that's good for now. I want to add a shaker loop to it. I think we have this one. This one sounds great. Maybe a transient processor on this could work. Let's first lower down the volume. Definitely fills up some space of the track. Let's add an EQ to it to remove low frequencies if there are any. And let's also add kickstart to it for sidechain. Transient processor. That's it for the percussion. Now I want to fix the thing that I've been waiting to do, which is the vocal. Let's first put it to a mixer channel and start adding some effects. I'm gonna start with an EQ to remove unnecessary low frequencies.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop,
Let's add some saturation to it with Decapitator. Can work really well on vocals to boost some harmonics.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Go to the top. Oh, hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop.
So before
Hit me with your,
and then after.
hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got.
Definitely is adding
Baby, I
a
could
lot to
love
the
you
vocal.
non-stop, non-stop.
I want to go for a really short reverb with Valhalla Room. I want to keep the vocal really dry, but by adding just a little of room, you can make it stand out a little bit more in the track.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop,
And let's see how it sounds when we add a kickstart to it with all the other elements.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop.
Making a huge difference when I put on all the effects.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I can love you non-stop, non-stop. Go hit me with.
What I also can do is create a copy of the vocal and make it a little bit lower in formant. And FL Studio has a new function, which is the Stretch Pro stretching mode. And with it, you can change the format of it.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot.
You can create some interesting effects with it, especially for tech house.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got.
And let's put it in a different mixer channel and treat it a little bit different. Let's first just copy this mixer state. Now I want to distort it even more. Really distort it. And then I want to remove some of the high frequencies. And then with the other vocal,
Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got.
just making a little bit of a difference.
Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Go to the hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got,
And I don't like that last part. And the first part needs some changes as well. So let's cut it up. I think this last bass shot is a little bit too much. So let's remove it over here.
Give me all that you got, you got. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Go to the top.
And then this last part over here can be removed as well. And then I want to copy this first part again. So put that over here. See.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Baby, I could love you not. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Baby,
and it should start earlier.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Baby, I could. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop.
Over there, I think that sounds great.
Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop.
And then we need something like a fill or something like that over here. The track is already getting there. The first part of the drop is almost done. I want to add some effects like downlifters and like crazy weird bleeps and bloops. So let's go for a downlifter first. Just a white noise downlifter will do. Over here, let's start with the effects. Lower down the volume first. And let's add some sidechain to it. And let's go to the random FX folder. Like these laser effects. This one can work. Make it a little bit faster. And put it right here. This laser maybe. Maybe add a scratch. Or this is something that we should keep for the transition. Let's also add some vinyl noise. Works well to give it that analog, housey, old school feel. Put it in the background of the track. Really low in volume. Give me can work. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this scratch over here. Let's copy this. For the transition between the first and second part of the drop, I'm going to add an uplifter. Just a basic white noise uplifter like this. Let's remove that scratch. I think I want to add a snare fill. This one maybe. Let's copy this whole thing and work on the second part of the drop. I don't want to go too crazy since I don't have too much time. I want to add like a synth or something. Let's look for a nice sound in Serum that can play a kind of repetitive melody. Let's go for a lead. Something like that. Nothing too crazy. Maybe another one. That could work. Let's see and how we can draw in this melody. Something like that maybe. Let's remove the low frequencies of this. It's too much low end in there. Put on EQ. And let's add these effects just by processing it. Let's also add another drum loop to the second part of the drop. This one maybe. I don't like the lead actually, so I want to change that up. Let's see if we have a different preset. way more simple, but I think it works better than the lead I just had. I also want to add something like a chord step, and we have some synth shot for that in the pack. Maybe this one. And then over here. Actually, there are better synth shots in Serum. Some chord steps in the Devotion pack. Actually, one of the house steps was really cool. Not this one. House step 2 can work. Let's put it in. That sounds great. Let's put a Q on it. Remove some of the high frequencies. Right here. Kickstart for sidechain. Just to add some variation between the first and second part of the drop. Want to add another downlifter. This one here in the second part of the drop. Alright, let's continue to an intro and a build up because I don't have too much time left. I'm gonna start with the kick, clap and hats, I think. That should be enough. But instead of using the full kick, I'm going to only use a short part of the kick. So I'm going to copy it and make it like really short. And let's also put this one in a mixer channel and add a low cut to it. So it doesn't have all low frequencies of the kick. Then further on in the intro, the full kick comes in. I'm going to apply the same technique to the bass. So I'm going to add a low cut in the first part of the intro, and then when the full kick comes in, also all the low frequencies of the bass hit. So put it right here. So you only have the little top end of the bass. this way, the listener can still hear the bass line, but just really in the background. Just a small introduction. Let's add these shaker loops here. The vinyl noise should be there as well. And then the effects. Also add this chord step. Over here, I want to start with a breakdown / build up. You usually don't want your breakdowns to be too long in tech house since it's all about the kick and the bass and the drums. But let's start and create a nice breakdown or build up. I want to go with a path and just put a chord on it. Let's see. Just B minor will work since it's the key. And then extend it. Look for another sound. Let's see how it sounds when we put the vocal on this.
Give me with your best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Give me with your best shot, best shot. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop.
Let's lower down the volume of the pad and put it in the mixer channel. That's the wrong one actually. This one, 0.4. And let's EQ it by removing the low frequencies. Add some reverb to it.
Best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Give me with your best shot, best shot. Best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Hit me with your best shot, best shot, best shot. Give me all that you got, you got. Hit me with your best shot, best shot. Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop. Hit me with your best shot, best shot.
So the breakdown is a little bit more melodic due to the chord. And I'm going to remove the low frequencies of this chord during the build-up, so the listener knows that there's a drop or something else coming. So let's create an automation clip for that.
Baby, I could love you non-stop, non-stop.
Let's see, we have to add a few things to this, like a downlifters. Maybe an impact that can work. This one. Maybe this one. It works. Now it doesn't really feel like a build up, and that's because I have to add uplifters and a snare fill. So we have that snare fill from the drop. Now let's add some uplifters. I don't know, let's just pick some random. Maybe this one. Or this one can work if we lower down the volume. I think we need the clap and the hi-hat still playing here. Otherwise it's a bit too boring. Let's add an endless smile to the master channel. Let's see. To create that really build-up effect. I'm not sure if it works well. I think I'm going to just add it to the vocal. So we have to put these two vocal layers in a bus and add the endless smile. Otherwise it's affecting too much other elements of the track. So let's put it just on the vocal. What we can do is automate the stereo separation knob of the master channel and make it mono during the build up. Then the drop hits a little bit harder because everything is coming back to stereo. That's too much. It should be on 50%, not on 100% wide. Let's make the attack of the synth a little bit shorter. It's a pad, but it's like taking too long. I want to make the drop hit a little bit harder, so I'm going to add a fruity balance to the master channel over here and create a volume automation during the build-up. So I'm putting the volume a few dB down. Then when it hits the drop, it's at 0 dB again. So during the build-up, it should go down just a little bit. This is a trick that has been used in so many EDM records. And I also want to add a reverse clap before the drop. So it like kind of sucks you into the drop. Let's reverse it. This. And make the end a little bit smoother. And that's everything I could do in 1 hour. Normally, I would have paid more attention to the synths to make it a little bit more unique, because right now the second part of the drop feels a little bit too repetitive in comparison to the first part of the drop. So normally I would have changed things up with more synths and stuff like that. But yeah, there was no time for that right now. But hopefully you learned a thing or two by watching me making this tech house track from scratch. Now I'll just give you a preview of what I've made in this hour. So that's it for this track. If you have any questions about anything I did in this video, then feel free to drop a comment and I will do my best to try and get back to you on there to help you with your productions. For now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching and I hope to see you in another video.